Hey, all you sinners and saints, it's TJ here at MotorSage. I'm sitting here in the parking lot looking at the Ford dealership and looking at some of these electric so-called vehicles. And well, my appraisal of the whole thing is not too good. I think I'm going to stick with gas engines, and they're going to evolve into eventually hydrogen engines. So come along today as I think about this and talk about this.
And I could never fail, as much as I could pry my life away from all the things that constantly will undermine. It's time to go, so grab your coat. We'll leave directions there in yellow sticky notes. We got the food, we got the wine. We'll take a ride up here. It'll save us half the time. I'll almost get us there. Oh. I'll almost get us there. Oh.
You know, talking about the advances made in automotive engines reminds me of when Jesus went up to Jerusalem and he was heralded as the king sent to them by God. He was going up against the political powers of his day: Herod, the temple authorities, and even Rome. Well, I'm not certainly Jesus, but what I can tell you about automotive fuels and how we, the consumers, are being pushed about by the powers that feel they rule the heights of government and such, well, there are some minor similarities between what happened back then in Jerusalem and what's happening now. Some in DC may not like what I have to say about automobiles. I want to talk to you about the electric cars and what they mean for us. Each day I see at least 3 or 4 ads on the television pushing electric vehicles out to the public. Be careful what kind of car you lay your money out for.
Disgusting.
You see, at one time, after years of working and teaching auto mechanics, I wrote for a national technical magazine. Therefore, I consider myself a bit qualified to hold certain opinions about these modern cars. At present, there are 3 forms of fuel that are being used for cars. 2 of these are chemically based and the other is electrical. First, of course, is the chemical hydrocarbon, gasoline, or diesel if you have a diesel vehicle. But as any person can witness, this fuel is becoming progressively more expensive to buy. This puts a heavy burden on those working class households we have all around this country. The pump price of these hydrocarbon fuels has been dependent on market fluctuations, availabilities, and some really gross political manipulations. Alternatives to gasoline are now found as electric cars are in the marketplace. These vehicles include fuel cell and storage battery type cars. While both can break our habit of gasoline dependency, both still use chemicals that have serious environmental side effects. In particular, I mentioned the electric car uses lithium in its batteries. Now, lithium is mined in many nations. Most sources of lithium are in hostile or third world nations. Acquiring these chemicals has increased the hazardous employment and enslavement of people in mining operations, especially minor-aged children, which are put to work digging this stuff out. Also, the technology used to build these vehicles is very expensive, and window sticker prices are out of reach for many families even after government subsidies, let alone if you have to, over the long term, replace the thing as the battery in one of these electric cars. Now, in contrast, the hydrogen burning engine, not a hydrogen fuel cell car, hydrogen burning engine has been tossed around for, many centuries. It's not a new idea. In more recent times, the Tokyo City University developed hydrogen internal combustion engines in 1970. And they developed the hydrogen fueled bus and the hydrogen fueled truck. Now Mazda has been working on the Wankel engine for 40 years or more. They started out burning gasoline. One of the problems with it was that the gasoline would produce carbon afterburn after the hydrogen burned up in the mixture. But hydrogen, you see, doesn't have any carbon in it. So Mazda has developed Wankel engines that burn hydrogen. The advantage of using such an engine is the cost of retooling for production is much lower. The existing technology for the Wankel can still be used and solve these problems even where fuel cells are not practical, especially in cold weather operations. Using hydrogen in Wankel engines improved efficiency by 23% over gas, with nearly zero emissions. Four-stroke reciprocating piston engines are not very well suited for conversion to hydrogen, but it can be done. The best process is with direct fuel injection right into the cylinder to prevent pre-ignition or backfire. A dual-fuel Mazda RX-8 hydrogen vehicle could switch on the fly from gas to hydrogen and back. So it can be done. As well, BMW tested a luxury car, the BMW Hydrogen 7. 2 or more test vehicles were built, but afterwards didn't hear too much about them. They were multi-fuel cars running on gas or hydrogen. Shelby Cobra is converted to run on hydrogen by a professor, engineer in University of California, Riverside. You see 5 automotive manufacturers in Japan, Kawasaki, Subaru, Toyota, Mazda, and Yamaha, announced that they'll take advantage of expanding fuel options to the use of internal combustion engines to achieve a carbon neutral fuel. Right now, Yamaha Motor unveiled a 5-liter V8 hydrogen fueled engine, which is based on the Lexus 2UR engine. The efficiency of the hydrogen engine is less than actually gasoline. They can't run the high compression. And it causes the need for larger displacements for engine size or supercharging. But these are troubles that can be overcome with water vapor and nitrous oxide as the only emissions from the tailpipe. Right now it seems that the biggest trouble with hydrogen power is that fuel manufacture is a problem. See, hydrogen comes from either natural gas or is water sourced. In doing some online research, the cleanest avenue for us seems to favor the water electrolysis method. The chemistry developments in this are interesting to follow. But think of this, if it can be done large scale, if we can get fuel from water, well, when the engine runs, it emits water vapor from the exhaust pipe, which will eventually go into the atmosphere, condense into rain, and find its way back into the natural cycle and out into the ocean without polluting the environment. For now, however, since the production, safe storage, and distribution of hydrogen is a science in the making, we're stuck with fuel cell, electric, and hydrocarbon fuel-burning vehicles. And what it takes is just choosing the right one for you and your family. I think that electric cars are okay for short runs in the burbs or in the city if you can afford to buy a car. Charging is relatively easy for an electric car because you can charge it right at home in your garage overnight. For a long haul, it's not as good. If you use a charging station out on the highway, take as long as an hour or so to get it up to a charge that is usable. As for me, I'll stick with gasoline. Maybe down the road just retool for some alcohol, giving some moonshiners some business. I don't really care for electric cars. I thought I'd come out and look at the electric Mustang, but you know, I can pass on that. See you down the road.
I don't wanna beg, but And all the things I tried throughout my life to look away, unfortunate to undermine. It's time to go, so grab your coat. I'll leave directions there on these yellow sticky notes. You got the food, I can't deny. We'll take a ride up here. It'll save us half the time. I'll almost get us there. I'll almost get us there. I shift this car right out of park, only in our minds, only in the dark. It doesn't matter that we've had a few. I am seeing